Anyway, wow. All right. Hi, and welcome to a new episode of Oh CyCy, brought to you from the heart of the Lower East Side, where I sit down with cool people from the neighborhood who do interesting stuff. We talk about their world, their expertise, their creative process, their this, their that, their that. We talk about current affairs. And today I have a really amazing guest on an amazing day. Tama Gucci is here.
Yes.
I call you Tama G.
Tama G.
Because I just like it.
Yes.
Wow. And today's album come out. Amazing musical artist. Where does the name Tama Gucci come from?
Tama Gucci comes from Tama Gucci.
Okay.
And I needed an at name.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I have Tama Gucci, because a bot has Tama Gucci.
Yeah.
I don't know who has it, but I don't have it.
Did you reach out to them?
I did. I've even sent my followers to like report it.
Flag it. Yeah.
But they're not letting up.
Oh, so annoying.
But I just took off Gucci and then put Gucci.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I saw Tama Gucci, I was like, oh, is Tama G? Is that?
Gucci is there because I can't get Gucci, but Gucci is there to take rid of Gucci and to make it an artist name. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. So we did a music video once together.
Yes.
With the iconic Jonathan Coulter.
Yes.
Yeah. Last year, Only Smoke Trees. What do you remember of that?
I remember it being very cold.
Yeah, it was freezing.
It was freezing.
You were in the water.
I was in the water. I don't think my feet has ever been that cold, like ever.
Wow.
I remember
it was really cold that
It was
night.
so cold. And it was actually cool because we were filming at night.
Yeah. Brighton Beach. We did it at
Coney.
Coney Island's Astroland Park.
Yes, it was so creepy because their mascot, you know, the guy with the smiley face.
Yeah.
Seeing that in the nighttime was actually like very terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think everything there is scary. It's given like
It's
80s horror film.
Yes, but their like mascot is like a guy with like a huge smile.
Yeah.
And it's throughout Coney. Kind of like the Joker.
Yeah.
We chose that location because it was cool. There was also cotton candy around.
Yes.
And we shot from the day going into the night.
Yeah. So cool. So visually cool.
Yes.
Wow. But today your new album came out.
Yes.
Notes to Self.
Notes to Self.
Where does that name come from?
That name comes from all of the songs were notes.
Okay.
Which I wrote. Whether it's in my phone, whether it's in my journal. And then I kind of matched them with melodies and then made beats for them. So
wait, so that's your creative process?
Yes, that's kind of how it all came together.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how does that work? You're somewhere and you get inspired or you hear something?
It's funny because sometimes I write music and it doesn't have any melody. I just think of something and I write it in my phone. Mm-hmm. And then I'm making a beat. And then all of a sudden I put a melody over the lyrics. And then I attach it to the beat, if that makes sense.
Wow. Okay. So so you think of beats?
Yes.
And you think of lyrics, and then sometimes you bind them together.
Yes. I'm like very good at like freestyling melodies. So I take lyrics and I'll read them, but I'm singing them.
Okay.
Yeah. Somehow it just works.
Cool.
Yeah.
Freestyle melodies. Can you do that impromptu? Oh wait, can we do that now? Wow.
I can.
Really?
Give me like a topic.
Pop. Okay, let's talk. You're from South Florida. I remember that from Only Smoke Trees.
I'm from South Florida.
Crazy Florida people. I don't know. Are there crazy people in Florida? Crazy people in New York too.
There's crazy people in Florida. Is that like a topic that you want me to freestyle on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay. Freestyle a melody. Give me like a clap.
Ta 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 ta.
People in Miami. They're so sexy, just like my body. I wanna party. Exactly.
Wow, you just made that up?
Yes.
Oh my God. That's so good.
Yes.
You obviously also have an amazing voice. That could have been a song.
That could have been a song.
Wait, so tell me about your new album, Big Day.
So, yes, my new album, which is called Notes to Self.
Oh, there's one coincidentally on
There's
the
one
table.
coincidentally. I don't know how that got there, but it's there. It's funny because it took about 3 years to kind of happen. I was writing a bunch of songs, not specifically for this, but it just kind of came together after like looking through my computer. It's been a long journey just because I didn't know what fully went into releasing an album, especially like through a label.
Oh.
So that was
So you
like,
thought it was way easier?
I thought it was way easier.
You were just like, good
Yeah.
song. This is how fast you just did that
Yes,
song.
and there were things that they were asking me for that I like would never think about. Like, where do you want to put the lyrics? Or like, I just didn't grasp how far that went. So I learned a lot with this album, but
That's
also I'm like very proud of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So, okay, but do you think then with a label, does it make it more like sluggish and difficult, or does it really add something to the table?
At first, I thought it was sluggish and difficult, yes.
Yeah.
But having a label, it like, I don't know, it kind of made me mature a little bit because even if it's something that I don't like, I remember that this is a job essentially kind of that I need to do too. Yes, creating art is like my personal thing, but it becomes like a job also.
Totally.
And one thing about me, I'm very professional, so I'm gonna get the job done.
Yeah. That's
And
good.
I had to get it done.
That's great, yeah, because there are a lot of artists that are like, yeah, I make art, but then it's like, yeah, it also has to be applicable if you want to make money
if you want to
sometimes.
make money off of it, yeah, you kind of have to grow up.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Wow. But have you always been like professional and mature like that?
Yes.
Really?
I was working at American Apparel when I was like 15, 16, and I was running the fitting room like I was like, only 5 pieces. I'll hold your extra pieces here. If you need me to take a photo of you, whatever, like while you're trying on it, but like you're not getting more than 5 items in there. And I was working like 40 hours.
Wow.
Which I did not need to be. But it was just like kind of fun for me. That didn't feel like work. I wish things felt like that actually. But I've always kind of taken it seriously when it comes to work, just because it's like, if you're gonna work, then do it your best.
Yeah, do it good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, and those were the rules, like 5 pieces, not more.
Yes, 5 pieces.
Which was very difficult at American Apparel because you'd have so many different kinds of t-shirts in all the colors. You'd want like 100 things.
No, literally, like the 5 choices was one thing, just in 5 different colors. On Lincoln Road, American Apparel, they had an outlet location. It was kind of, honestly, the most fun job that I've ever had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Why? Just fun people? Miami's fun.
Miami's fun. I worked with all of my friends, like people that I'm still friends with to this day.
Amazing.
And they're all kind of creatives too. So.
And you met them all there?
I met them all there.
Wow. Would you ever write a song about that?
I definitely would.
Nice.
Yes.
Maybe your next album.
It's going to be called Fitting Room.
Oh, yeah. Perfect.
Yes.
Fitting room. Sitting room. Wow.
Exactly.
But this one, Notes to Self. So what's different compared to the other? Like, tell me, like, what's the essence of this album?
The essence of this album, I think I've matured a lot. It's funny because a lot of people tell me that they've been listening to my music for a while. And when I hear that, I'm just like, oh my God, like, are they saying that I'm old? But then I'm like, no, actually, I was making music when I was 15.
Really?
Yeah, and I just started putting it on SoundCloud. And then I've always been on the internet. Even before moving to New York, I knew so many people here before I moved here.
Oh, you met them on the internet?
Yeah. It's like, I've definitely matured, and I wanted to show that. A lot of the stuff, it's easy for me to make music and talk about like being a bad bitch or like having the upper hand and like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it's harder for people to be more vulnerable in general.
Where?
Like when it comes to like making music.
Okay.
Or just like in general.
Yeah.
It's easier to talk about that you're having a good time and that you don't care versus, oh my God, I'm having an awful time and I do care.
Without making it complaining.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's more so like owning up to kind of your part in it too, and etc. Like it's
amazing.
Yeah. So the album definitely showcases that. And like from the artwork and like everything, like working with Jonathan and Emilio and like all the creatives that had a part in it.
Yeah.
It definitely pushed me to want to be my better self.
Yeah.
Knowing that I'm working alongside people who see a vision for me also. And being a professional, not wanting to waste anyone's time. It's like, if you give me your best foot, I'm going to give you mine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great because you had an amazing creative team on this album.
Yeah.
So tell me about the album cover. What are we seeing? It looks so amazing.
It's funny because in the album cover, I'm wearing an earring that I made.
Oh yeah, you make jewelry.
Yeah, I'm wearing an earring that I made, and I made it specifically for this. Like, I made it specifically for this album. And like, it's funny story about the cover art too. I also, at first, this wouldn't have been my first choice, but Emilio, after speaking with her, she was like, okay, I think that this is the one. And then I had to like sit on it for a little bit, and I was like, okay, if everyone is telling me that this is the one, this is the one.
Yeah.
And I think that was important because I would have leaned towards something that I probably have already done, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not because I'm scared of trying something new, but just because it's just my normal.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be pushed and then to ended up loving how it turned out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Because what was the safer one like? Because this is more like shiny and.
There's a safer one where you could see more of my body. I was like, oh, body. Like
Florida.
Yes, Florida, sexy body. And I was like, this is the one. But it's actually nice. Like, that is all not given away. I feel like, and when you look through the album, you still get that. Like, on the inside of the CD, like, you still get it.
Wait, this is like the old fashioned, that you get because you would buy the album, so you get extra photos.
Yeah, so you get extra photos and you still see that. It's just not right away. And me, I like to give it to people right away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Cool. So, you like to be pushed in that way. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I find often with musical artists, like with models, you can do whatever, you know, but with musical artists, it's also the story that you guys want to tell.
Yeah, I think too, like, with my background being modeling, like wanting to model and doing some cool things, I've always been like, as a model, you can't really have too much of a say.
No.
You're kind of just like a vessel that people create on.
Yeah.
So like taking a little bit of that and then also being like, oh, I am an artist and I can have a say, and like finding the perfect middle ground that makes you adaptable.
Yeah.
And like moldable, so someone can like envision you in a cool way that you can't see, but you don't take yourself too seriously as an artist, where you cheat yourself out of that experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally. Because if there are too many cooks in the kitchen, like if the actor or model is going to start saying things.
Yeah. And I like to try everything. We literally, like, on the cover art, it may look like it's water, but it's sunflower oil.
Wow, so you were
Yes.
sticky as fuck.
Like, even that, something that I would never do.
No.
But I did it. I
Yeah.
literally did it. I didn't even complain. I was like, we're gonna get it done, and it wasn't bad.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, okay, because you made 2 music videos already for this album. And I heard there maybe a third one?
Yeah.
Wow, coming?
Yeah, it's one coming. It's when the time is right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. The time is right.
Yes.
Okay, wait, but tell me about the music videos. I got to see the making of one of them because
Yes.
I helped with a few drone shots.
Yes, Runaway Pup. It's funny because, again, like, Jonathan presented the idea to me and was like, what do you think if we did this? Do you know the movie Funny Games?
Who's
And
Jonathan?
Jonathan is who creative directed kind of this entire album.
Wow.
But also Jonathan directed the challenge video.
Oh, wow.
And that was our first time working together on a project. And it's funny because that was supposed to happen like before the pandemic, and then the pandemic happened and but everything happens for a reason. I feel like if the pandemic didn't happen, we probably would have did like 3 music videos before this, and who knows, that probably would have changed what we did for this. So everything happens for a reason.
Because these songs already existed before the pandemic.
Yeah, like a few of them already did because I was just making music.
Yeah.
So like who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, what do you think if we made a music video kind of based on Funny Games? And I was like, okay. Like,
Yeah.
I'm down. I was like, I've never seen it, but it sounds cool.
Yeah. Oh, you hadn't seen it?
I hadn't seen it, and then I watched it and I was like, wait, this is actually amazing.
Right?
Like, it's such a good movie. It's like uncomfortable, but
Yeah.
you also can't stop looking at it.
Yeah, it's such a cool aesthetic.
Yeah, it's so strange. And the fact that they made 2 of them and kind of replicated it scene by scene years later.
Yeah.
The soundtrack in it was also cool. So I just kind of jumped for it. Like
Yeah.
I was like, sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was very tedious to film. Like even dropping an egg. One thing about Jonathan also, he's very particular.
Yeah. It had to be a particular kind of egg.
Yeah. And I remember when we were filming the egg dropping, the first egg that dropped, I was like, no, we need to redo the egg.
You're
and
like,
I was
oh,
like, okay, yeah, we need to redo the egg. If you said the egg looks weird, it looks weird. And we redid the egg, and we almost went through a whole carton. That's like, how many eggs is in a carton?
I think like 12.
12?
Yeah. You can get the 18 also.
I feel like we had the 18 one
Yeah.
because it was a big one, and we almost went through that whole thing just filming the egg drop. I didn't think it would be that tedious, but it was. But that's like what goes into, essentially we were making a movie.
Yeah.
So it's so many cutscenes and things that I didn't think about, but
Yeah.
it was great to like experience that, and also to do it with a team that I worked on the video before that, which was You Lost Me.
Yeah.
And we shot during a solar eclipse.
Yeah.
And it was the same team.
But totally different approach.
Totally different approach. Like one of them was You Lost Me was a one shot, like one take. And it was so much like practice leading up to it and just one shot. After that one shot, it was like, that's it.
Yeah, and why was it one shot and you only got one shot? That was iconic.
Yes, it's like we wouldn't have been able to see it. I've been telling people on TikTok it's like in 40 years that they won't be able to get it, but you won't be able to see another solar eclipse within the United States for some years.
Wow. Oh yeah, because it was during the solar eclipse.
Yeah, it was during the solar eclipse.
So that's why it had to be one take.
And we drove somewhere where you can see it, not without the glasses, but like with your eyes.
Yeah, you guys went to the path where it was like 100%, right?
Yeah, so we can see it. And what's even crazier about it, divine timing, which I've been saying, if we would have drove like maybe, I think we were like 2 hours away from Canada.
Okay.
Which where more people drove to. They passed where we were to go there just because I believe you get like an extra few minutes, like 2 minutes or so with the eclipse because it was more in the path. We wouldn't have seen anything. It was just like a bunch of stormy, it just rained. All they saw was rain and clouds. And where we was like perfect.
It was perfect.
Like not a cloud covering it. The people were so nice. Like a little too nice. And
but that's by the border because Canadians are also really nice.
Yeah.
You only had one shot. Were you not like, fuck, if I fuck it up, if I trip, or?
Honestly, not really. I worked, like I trained a lot with Robert, who was like an amazing choreographer.
Oh, Robert Ville.
Yes. The best.
Yeah, the iconic choreographer.
The best. I'm saying it to like every camera. Honestly, that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for him. Just because he was like, he implemented in my brain that like, even if you trip on this one part, we went over it so many times. He was like, even if you trip on this one part, you need to make sure that it's believable. We don't know what's happening. Yeah. Like as somebody seeing it for the first time, like we don't know.
No.
So you only have one shot. And I just kept hearing that in my head. And it was strange. It was also, as a Leo, we kind of loves like an audience.
So it was just your birthday?
Yeah, a few days ago.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
We'll get some cupcakes after.
Yes. And while I was doing You Lost Me, while we were filming it, I was hearing the music that they were playing from a speaker, but I also was hearing the crowd, but it was the crowd cheering and screaming because of the eclipse. But while I was doing it, I was like, oh my God, they're cheering for me. Like I'm doing an amazing job. I was like, just get through it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got through it. And I got to see the eclipse too, which is great.
Wow.
Yeah, I looked at it in the video and I looked back in the video and reached my hand up. I like took it all in. And then that kind of recharged me to get through the rest of it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because living with the mistakes, kind of what I just had with the beginning presentation when I was like, where you're yeah. Is that when you're performing, do you get a lot of energy? Like, is that important for you, the applause?
It's not necessarily important for me because I perform places where people just weren't interested. When I perform, I'm mostly doing it for me because I love to sing like outside of my room. And I take it seriously.
What is this album? What's like different about it than everything you've done?
What I did differently on this album is some of them I was like, okay, I can't get the feature, but I'm just gonna leave that space open and allow whoever's listening to it, if they're an artist also, to do their own on it. So
Cool.
I just kind of left little spaces in between so people can put their interpretation on it.
That's really cool.
I feel like it's interactive in that way.
Yeah.
Like it's actually interactive.
Yeah.
Not like something that they can just sing along with, but they can actually put their spin on it.
Yeah.
And when they're performing it for themselves, like they can have that.
Wait, that's so awesome.
Yeah. Which is cool.
So you have features on this album?
I have features on this album. It's everyone.
Oh my God. Because I remember when we did Only Smoke Trees, there was a bit of a apocalyptic thing because I had to animate the nuclear bombs.
Yes.
But they were a bit moving sometimes,
Yes.
but that was part of the art.
Yeah.
Does this also have apocalyptic elements?
Seeing that we did a video that had an eclipse in it, that was a one-take solar eclipse.
Yeah.
Which is kind of apocalyptic
Yeah,
also.
totally.
It just kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
We definitely didn't do it on purpose. I think naturally, considering like the state of the world and everything that's going on right now, things can feel like that.
Yeah.
And I think naturally, this was our way of kind of making art without actually talking about that, just showcasing that there's something going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something brewing in the background.
There's something brewing in the background, and however you interpret this,
It's definitely a sign of the time.
Exactly.
Wow. So which like elements or subjects that are happening in the world now play biggest for you?
Honestly, I hate how expensive rent is. I record out of my house, and I feel like if that was not a safe space that I have, I don't know, like this album probably wouldn't have happened. So like seeing how hard it is for people right now, like, not just in New York, but just in general with the housing crisis and like how expensive it's all becoming. It's like, what are people gonna do?
And then thank God for easier technology.
Yeah.
That we can do it at home.
Exactly.
Because even this studio,
yeah,
it's it's a few
Yeah.
lights, but
A
20 years
beautiful
ago.
home.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. And it's so
Yes.
wonderful to finally have you here.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful and it's comfortable, it's cozy.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of people are struggling?
I feel like a lot of people are struggling. It's hard times. People are self-medicating to kind of not acknowledge what's going on and to kind of be a distraction from it. And then they might be self-medicating a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Where nothing's being done simply because of that. And then it just kind of slowly like spiraling out of control.
Yeah. Well, because it's funny, I've had a few people here at this table, and we've also talked about the rave scene. And
Yes.
you DJ at like a lot of the amazing parties.
Yeah, that's where I started. I started like performing in Miami at raves. Like that was my first stages, and then I
Really?
came to New York, and then that's where I started also.
Oh, wow.
And then I started DJing.
Before you made music?
I was doing raves before I was DJing,
Okay.
but I was just singing.
Okay.
And then I started singing at raves and parties in New York, but I learned how to DJ also, and then that kind of went hand in hand. So it's nice. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You talked about self-medication, but the ketamine and everything came back too. Is that an asset to the rave scene?
There's two sides to every coin. There's a good side and there's a bad side. I think it's fun. Like, I love that people have the self-medicating tools to be able to distract themselves to have fun.
Yeah.
But it becomes an issue when people don't know when to not do it.
Yes.
And then when you always kind of have it, when there's time for you to actually like face things heads on and actually do something about it, they self-medicate and then nothing gets done.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And like you said, you are professional.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, me too. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to get shit done.
you have to get shit. There's so many cool things happening in the rave culture, but there's also so much self-medicating that is involved in it. Other people are monopolizing and like gaining money and stealing ideas and being able to like do something with it because they're not.
Oh. They have ideas, but they're not executing them.
Yes, whether it's a look, whether it's a sound. Being in New York and seeing it, I truly believe that it's cool in New York first, and then it's cool everywhere else.
Yes, 100%.
And we see it time and time when it comes to like pop culture. So things that are like having a moment now, to a lot of people here, especially the rave scene here, we're just kind of like, oh,
yeah,
like it's late.
Yeah, because we've already seen it.
We've already seen it. But it's amazing for me to see it, like if stepping out of it and then being like, wait, this has been done within my community so long ago, and then seeing it being like making so much money outside of this community. It's like, how did that happen? And then it's like I said, just like a lot, it's honestly the self-medicating, the drug. There needs to be a cap on it, essentially.
Totally. But that's so interesting, because I find that with a lot of things, and I've always said that too, things that happen here are amplified into the whole world. That's why, like, I mean, the 9/11 was impactful regardless, but you know, the icons of the Western civilization in New York, you know, huge.
I remember here seeing like the dolls wear, you know, like the super big like dark glasses.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that here and kind of nowhere else. Like nowhere else was doing it, and now it's like it's a staple.
Yeah.
Not saying that the dolls here were the first ones to do it, but there's a lot of things that I see in the trans community, specifically in New York, that is kind of like being monopolized outside of New York, but in a way where it's not collaborative. It's just kind of like, oh, we're taking this.
Yeah. No, because you probably have like business people tapping into it, at following them on Instagram, being like, oh, these are the trends.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can we make these ideas and amplify them ourselves? Yeah,
we definitely can. We just need to actually put more of an emphasis on community, and that is the most important part. It's actually like showing up for your community and holding your community accountable and actually being real, even if it hurts.
That's cool. Wow. Have you ever been hurt by being real?
I've hurt people, yes, by being real, but I've also been hurt by people being real with me, but the truth hurts. That's a true saying.
Do you have an example of when you said something that you may have hurt someone?
This is the first thing that comes to my head. Was I remember once in school, there was a person that just had a very bad odor. And everyone was talking about it. Like, everyone was talking about it at the table. And I remember being like, you smell.
Yeah.
And they were so like upset and like sad about it. And then I was like, wait, like I actually could have said that better and privately.
Yeah, but if no one says it.
No one is saying it.
Yeah.
Somebody has to say it. Like I'm saying it because like I want to help.
Yeah.
Like I want to help. But
yeah, it's like if someone has a booger on their face.
Yeah, it's just about approach, which is what I've learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's funny you say that example, because I do not have a sense of smell. So I always tell my friends, like, if I ever smell, tell me right away.
You don't have a sense of smell?
No, never had it.
Oh my God.
I taste, like, my t-shirt, see if it's salty, if I wore it already. This is quite salty, actually. It's my sports shirt. I worked out today.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I always ask people, tell me, and I was once on set, and someone was like, oh, KK, you kind of smell, and I freaked out, because people do say I'm lucky. Like, I don't, I have good, you have people that just smell out of their breath. I don't. Like, I smell kind of okay. Yeah.
I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. Yeah, so if I ever smell, or if you ever have to fart, you can, because I don't smell it.
Yeah.
But how is that like growing up in Florida? Because you were from South Florida. Is that Miami?
Growing up in Miami it actually was very nice. Like, my dad would drive me to school every morning. He was the first person to buy me a Tama Gucci. And that, like, is kind of why I am here today.
Why? Because of the Tamagotchi?
Yeah, because, like, I loved the toy. I would collect them all the time.
Yeah.
And, like, I had so many. He would buy me one every week.
Okay.
On a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just collected them. But back to it being about Miami.
Wait, no. But why is that the reason you're here?
It's the reason why I'm here, because Tama Gucci would not exist if I wasn't like looking for an at name and being like, oh, Tamagotchi, because I love Tamagotchi.
Wait, but you think it's the name?
Honestly, not really, but as far as being here and being named Tama Gucci, that.
But you would have had a different name, but
I would have had a different name.
because I think it's you and your personality and your voice and your ability to make.
No, I would have definitely have a different name, but the way it being specifically what it is today is because of that. But growing up in Miami was sweet. Like it was like I had my cousins there, my aunts, my entire family, like all my siblings, my mom and my dad. But it was just it's interesting. Like it's an interesting place. It's hard to say. A lot of people think that Miami is what you see on TV, like Miami Vice and just like peaches and cream, but it's really not. Like it's really not. It can get gritty.
Yeah.
It can get very gritty.
Yeah. But isn't it way more conservative there than...
It's a lot more conservative than people think. And racism there is still like a big issue too. And people just kind of forget about that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a thing.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So how is that then? Do you ever perform your music there, or what do they think of your music there? Because do they have racism against gays?
There's definitely
only
like
black people, or tell me about it.
Okay, so I performed everywhere that I possibly can perform in Miami. Well, not everywhere I possibly can perform, but I performed at a lot of places. There became a point where I stepped back and then I realized like, hey, okay, so are these the only stages that are available for me because of how I identify or how I look? And then I started looking at everyone else and I was like, are these the only stages for you guys too?
Oh.
And they do this thing in Miami, not purposefully, but I feel like it's just kind of how it goes. But like if you're gay and you're alternative, you're only here. Like you're only doing this thing and these are the only places for you.
Yeah.
It's not really like, okay, like we're totally something different and we can have you come here and be a part of our space and etc. So I've noticed with that in Miami, it's just kind of like, it feels like a cap is being put on your limits, you know?
Wow.
And I've realized that I've seen that with some of the people that I love also, and after speaking with them and hearing their experiences, a lot of us feel the same way. And it's like, if we all feel that way, then it must be true.
Yeah. Is there a way you can break that boundary? Do you want to even?
I feel like there's a way that it can be broken. We just need money.
Okay. Yeah, you just need money.
We just need money.
To make your own space.
To make our own spaces, because everyone thinks that our spaces are cool. It's just a matter of having money to be able to fund it and grow it and support it and like spread the word about it. Yeah. And I think it starts there.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so if you would have to choose 3 songs, which are your favorite and most iconic for this album, on the album, which ones?
My top 3 songs, the first one will be Good Morning Babe, just because I just love the sounds in it, like the little birds, the water. I feel like it genuinely sounds like what a good morning would be. You ever woke up in the morning and it's like the perfect amount of sun, you're in a good mood, you feel like you got rest.
Yeah.
And you have somebody that you love next to you, you know, like it's like the perfect morning.
Yeah.
You have food that you can cook because you went to do grocery shopping like a few days before. Like that is, I feel like that song captures that.
Everything is good.
Everything is good. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And my second would be At the Moon, just because I love the sounds in it. It just has like a nice like bounce to it.
What is that about?
At the Moon is basically just, again, I wrote all of these songs like in my room, and there was one night where I literally was just in my room and I was listening to music, stoned out of my mind. And
because you only smoke trees.
I only smoke trees exclusively. And I remember it was a full moon. I could see it from my window, and then I was like, like I'm literally dancing in my room, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna write about literally what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
Cool.
Yeah. And then my third favorite would be Runaway Pup. Just because how that song came together was just kind of so effortless. Jack, who I worked with on the track, like we met when I was on tour, and it was my first time touring.
Who's Jack?
He's this artist, an amazing artist. He's from Australia, I believe. But we were mutuals, and then...
So he's a singer also?
He sings, he does singing, but he plays instruments also, he produces.
Okay.
So all the instruments that you hear on that song, like the entire beat, he did it.
Major.
Which is like amazing.
Yeah.
And we met on the last day of the tour. And I was so like stressed out from that tour because I just didn't know what to expect. Like it also wasn't my tour. I was opening for Erica DeCassier, and it was a great experience. Like I loved it, but it was a lot that I didn't know that went into touring that I found out. And
so you really learned by doing, right?
I learned by and he was like, hey, I'm in LA, like, and it's like, what are the odds that he's there? And in between sound check and when the show started, I just went to the studio and I like sung it kind of straight through, like once. And then I added a few like ad-libs, and I never heard it again until like a month later. And then I was like, oh, it's great. I love it. Like it was really kind of nothing to be done.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Great. Because you have the microphone in your room that you could just...
Yeah, I have a microphone in my room that if I needed to do anything, I could. But I did it all in LA, like in the studio with him. Wow. Yeah, and that was our first time meeting. It was not awkward. It was just great.
Yeah. You've DJs at amazing parties where I've been, like here downtown, but also in Bushwick. How does that influence your music?
I never want to look back on my life and be like, I don't know what was going on. Like I really try to take in every moment, and by taking in the moment, I'm listening to what's being played around me. I'm listening to what my peers are listening to.
Cool.
I'm trying to see, like, do I resonate with that? Am I in this same space? Do I like something that's marketed towards me? Like I really try to like, I don't know if it's a personality type, but I really try to understand things on a deeper level.
Cool.
And I think that plays a hand in my music just because I want people to understand it.
Yeah.
I want them to try to figure out, does this resonate with me? How does this make me feel?
Yeah.
Do I know what this person is talking about in the record? Do I love it? That's really how it works for me.
Because who are artists? And also the light fell down, but it looks really good actually. But I am going to put it straight.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because it's the first time with the arms. We got all professional.
We got all professional stuff.
Oh wow, thank you.
I didn't even notice that it fell.
No, it didn't. And the light looked actually on me, it looked quite okay like that. Maybe we'll do it next time, but we got to keep it consistent.
Yes.
Thank you, Johnny. Okay, then who are artists that inspire you?
Brandy. I love Brandy's voice. I love what she does with it. It's literally like when people say a voice is an instrument, that's the perfect example. I love Emotion Heap or Frou Frou or Fro Fro. I'm not sure how you say it. Love. I also love Nicki Minaj. I love how some things can be very serious, some things can be very unserious. Like, and I just love how much fun she has with music. And she's done literally she's done music over every kind of beat. Like every type of beat you can think of, she's done it. And that's admirable. Yeah. And it shows that she doesn't undermine herself and say like, oh, I can't do anything. No. But she also she's like, I'm gonna try it. And that's kind of me. Which is kind of, I think that's kind of where I grasped that from.
Nikki's a Sagittarius, just like me.
Exactly.
Yeah. No.
Smart people.
Thank you.
Smart people.
No, but yeah, it was actually, her album came out like during my birthday, and it's like all we listened to all of December, but it really reminds me of that.
Yeah. No, it's great. Like she's one of my favorites. I feel like there's a few people that I'm missing, but like when I talk about like my top 3, it's who else? That's actually such a good question. Because I listen to so much music, and I always try to get it right when I answer this question.
It's a tough one because it kind of depends on what kind of thing you're doing also. Yeah. And what from the past?
From the past is sounds. It's like certain genres that kind of had a moment, whether it's in Europe versus here, or may have not been that big here, but it was big in Europe. Or just like point of views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of old music too. So, and there's so many amazing like black artists that I love, like Sonique, and it's just Sonique came to my head first, but also Grace. It's like the sound of the club then through that lens. Me hearing that growing up, being like, oh my god, I love this. I can't wait to like do something like this of my own. I feel like I did that here.
Yeah. That's so cool. Grace Jones.
Yeah. Sonique, and then also Grace Jones, when it came to like writing, you listen to like some of her music, the lyrics are actually very beautiful.
Yeah.
And not hard to digest.
No.
It's just people get so wrapped up in how she looks.
Yeah.
Versus actually listening to what she's saying. And it's like, actually, she was spilling. Like, it was actually very beautiful music.
I mean, the one Slave to the Rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that song.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's so good because you are, like, when you really get hooked, you do become a slave to that.
Yeah, you really do. And you don't even realize it. Like, you're just kind of like grooving. But you see, a lot of people still got caught in her beauty. They were just like, this person is so beautiful and also so different looking.
Yeah.
We kind of don't really care what she's saying. We just want to see it, you know?
Everything is going to be cool that she says anyway.
Yeah. And I think to tie that into this, I think people will want to listen to it, but they also like how it looks.
Yeah.
Yes.
But because this album is a bit more serious.
Yeah, it's so serious. I definitely was listening to a lot more like emotional stuff.
Yeah.
To kind of bring that out of me.
And also kind of made during some songs were made during the pandemic, which was like a serious time.
Yeah, which was a serious time. I didn't know what was going on. No. Like a few days after I put out my first like single ever with the label, everything shut down.
Damn.
And so I was just kind of like, I just moved here. I was making progress in my career.
Yeah.
At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And now the world is like at a standstill. People are dying. Like, you know, I was like,
and you were ready for hot girl summer.
I was ready for a hot girl summer, and then I'm just like, what is happening?
Yeah. I did a road trip to the South. I also went to Florida.
Yeah.
It was because here everything was really shut down, but there you could just walk without your mask. And I thought that was kind of fun.
Yeah. I was stuck there for a little bit during the pandemic for like a month because it was before they really started locking down things in New York. So then, you know, it took them a minute to be like, nobody's going out, nobody's going in.
Yeah.
And I kind of was already out.
Okay.
And then
Oh, really? They didn't let people in Miami? Oh, New York.
No, in New York.
Yeah.
Like, not that they didn't let people in. I think if you drove in, yes, because that's how I ended up getting back.
Yeah.
But there were no flights. And I couldn't. So I was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay in Miami for a little bit. And it felt
wasn't it way
different.
nicer in Miami then?
Yeah. It just felt more open.
Yeah.
In New York, I feel like we are forced to kind of coexist with people sometimes when we don't want to.
Yeah.
Just because it's just how it is here. But in Miami, it was so much space.
Do you think they could lighten that up here, or is that just about being compact? How do you see that?
I think they can lighten it up here, yes. But it's so many people here.
Yeah.
And I really don't think it's that much space for that. Like, even when my hair was pink, I would be so uncomfortable in Miami sometimes just because, like, the stairs. Not that I care about that, but, you know, there's sometimes, especially if you're in a bad mood and you see, like, people just, like, you want to be like, what?
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And then versus New York, I feel like people will see it and just be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is a normal citizen. You know?
The crazier the better.
Yeah, the crazier the better. Like, we're all crazy here. So,
Yeah. So New York more free than Miami?
It feels like that.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, nobody gives a fuck.
Nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And even if they do, they kind of just like, it's quick.
Yeah.
Like in Miami, is so much time for people to be like, I don't give a fuck, and I'm gonna bother you and make sure you not I don't give a fuck, I do give a fuck, and they're gonna bother you and make sure that you know that they do give a fuck.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Yeah. And that's probably also the reason what we just talked about, that there's a lot of innovation here on creative things and that people take inspiration from it.
Yeah. There's a lot of creatives out of Florida that are having a moment, but I think identity plays a part in that. And I think things are more available to people with certain identities versus like being black or like visibly black, you know, like it's definitely a difference.
With what?
With the opportunity. Like and the resources.
In Florida.
In Florida.
It's really more racist.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
And then versus New York, I think you do have more opportunities because
Yeah.
it's so many. It's everyone. Like
Yeah.
there's everyone here.
Yeah, and everyone here is competent because otherwise you don't
Yeah.
live.
You're aware that you're kind of coexisting with a bunch of people, and not only aware, you have to.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
Versus in Florida, it's like places that are just like, we only have this here,
That's it.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're so happy to have you here.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm happy to be here.
So good. Yeah, I think, is there anything else?
Y'all, buy the album.
Yeah.
It's really good. Like, not to toot my own horn, but
No, it is really good.
It's really good. It's like romantic, it's true, it's honest, it's sexy, it's sweet. And it's just really good. I think you guys would really like it. So, yeah, that's really it.
And it's your first album.
It's my first album,
And
which
you're
is
so
insane.
amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, it's a full circle moment, and it may have taken longer than I expected, but I do believe everything happens for a reason. And I really can't wait to look back on this moment and be like, you were right once again.
Yeah. Yeah.
You were right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. I was so honored to have you here.
No, thank you.
Yeah. And I love how you like pick everything up. You know, you have great ideas, but you also just do it.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to listen to the album a lot. And it's such a sign of the times now.
Yeah. It's very such of the times. I think I did a good job capturing like where we are socially, but also making you think about things that you love from the past.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yes.
Wow. Where are we socially?
On Instagram, I'm Tama Gucci.
Okay.
TamaHoOChie. It's the same on Twitter. And that's...
He doesn't make TikToks.
I like to tell people I don't make TikToks, but I do make TikToks. So I kind of have to, because everyone is on TikTok.
Yeah.
But it's Tama Gucci there too.
All right. Well, can't wait to listen to a lot. Tama Gucci, Notes to Self. We love it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming.
you.
You're amazing.
Thank
I
you.
love you.
Love you too.
Woo! Ta-ta!
Here you go.
Yay!